Cool. So, second podcast. This isn't our debut. This isn't the first podcast. So we're just doing this so people can kind of get a good feel of what we're going to end up doing for like the other videos and stuff like that. But so debut December 23rd. We're basically going to be doing Christmas, perfect time of the year, 2 days before Christmas, right?
Right.
So bottom line is we're going to probably be saying a lot of stuff that people kind of might get offended at first.
Controversial.
We're going to ask you guys to just please stick through us through the entire thing. You will in the end feel really, really enlightened when it's all done.
Ultimately, you're probably not going to like it if you're a very conventional and conservative type thinker. We're going to give you some information that is absolutely true. We're never going to tell you anything that's not true. And we're going to be telling you things that are obviously controversial. So about December 23rd is the day we're going to be debuting?
Yeah, it's going to be on the 23rd. We're just going to be talking about Christmas. Just a lot of like esoteric things that people don't know about Christmas. It is, regardless of what you've been told, pagan holiday. There's a lot of paganism rooted in it. I didn't know about... Remember when we worked at Walmart?
Yeah.
There was pagans that worked with us. I actually went to one of the girls' houses. Yeah.
That was so long ago. Oh my God.
Right? And she literally, as soon as we went in the house, she literally had a Christmas tree that was inside the house, but there wasn't decorations like you normally would decorate a Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
It literally...
As it'd be a pagan tradition.
Right. It had like these cool like little holders for candles on there, and it had like a star, but it wasn't the Star of Bethlehem. It was like... It was different. It was like a gold rim with a gold star. That's when I asked her. I was like, "Wait, that's weird. Is that the Star of Bethlehem joking around?" She goes, "Oh no, you Christians took it from us." And I was like, "Oh shit,
snap.
What does that mean?" So we're going to talk about meanings like that. You know, you see a lot of Wiccans walking around with the Wiccan star. You see a lot of pagans that, or you might not see a lot of pagans. You don't know they're pagan, but you see a lot of things that they kind of believe in. I mean, due to the fact that the pine tree is like the only tree that's still alive during winter, they celebrate that and they bring it in the house. So we're going to talk about those roots and kind of just get people familiar with the real true spirit of Christmas.
Exactly. And the whole Christian aspect of Christmas. A lot of it is taken from paganism. A lot of people are not going to like that, but the fact of the matter is that yes, it was taken from paganism, and the fact that Christianity said specifically do not bring a tree inside the house, and specifically do not decorate it, and in a form of worship in any way, especially towards Jesus Christ. That being said, that's just one of the things that people are generally not going to like, and this is a true fact. And
we will show proof of that in sources.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Bible being one of the sources.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I mean, I'm so excited about that. And again, I like to talk about like how people basically generalize or how they feel about like things like this, because
oh my God, yeah,
right, like you either get one side of people that's like knows about this and they go, don't talk about that please, and you get another side of people that are just like, please don't talk about that around me. Like, what have you encountered?
Or the other side of people that is the classic sheep. I like to say. The traditional sheep, I like to think of when I would be talking about certain esoteric or convoluted or things that people just don't like to hear, I guess. Somebody said to me, literally, I said, like, what's wrong? I asked this question when somebody was being not comfortable with what I was talking about. I think I was talking about something having to do with Taoism or any kind of like esoteric type of religion, and it was really deep conversation and like the nature of reality type of conversation. And I asked her why don't you want me to talk about this? What makes you uncomfortable about this? And she literally said to me with a blank face in the eyes, she said to me, "I guess I'm just closed-minded." And I looked at her and I said, I had a million things that I wanted to say, but the fact that she just directly came at me and said that, I guess I'm just closed-minded, I had to accept it and just respect it and say, okay, I'll shut up. And
yeah, there's not much you can do.
There's not much you could do when someone is willingly ignorant.
How about when it's like your family member though? Like it's like your cousin, your friend, your brother, people that you're close to that you actually care about what they think.
Oh, then if that were the fact, then I would actually try a little bit harder and not accept their ignorance and try and inform them on the fact of the matter. But the fact is, she didn't really matter much to me, and she was just kind of a person that I knew that I didn't really care too much and respected her ignorance, even though it was something I didn't really like doing at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard. I notice that when I try and talk about like conspiracy theories or anything that has to do with like any depth of when you try and talk in depth of things like of religion or esoterics or paranormal or spirituality, people around you feel a sense of tenseness and uncomfortableness. And once you feel that, you don't really want to continue on conversation because you can tell the people around you are getting uncomfortable. And naturally, you don't want to make people uncomfortable. You don't want to make people unhappy, and so you'll be mindful about what you're saying around certain people. Not everyone's like me. Some people will openly talk about this stuff, regardless of the feelings of the people around them.
Speak on that subject though. Like, what subject would you say does that?
Like 9/11.
How many buildings fell that day?
3.
3, right?
Yeah.
I got asked that actually over at AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody basically told me, they're like, hey, like, how many buildings fell during 9/11? I told him 3. He just blew his mind. He literally was like, oh, I've never heard somebody say that. Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, and I ended up finding out, and it's the funniest thing, he's actually from a third world country. He actually isn't, he's not American, he just came here, but he's like, everybody else in my country knows what happened on that day, but your own citizens don't know what happened that day. It's the craziest thing. And like, people just get touched up on subjects like that, and they can't really talk about it. And really, when it comes to mostly subjects, especially conspiracy theories, there's 2 sides. There's always 2 sides. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. There's 3 sides. There's their side, your side, and the truth, right?
Exactly.
And that's how a lot of people like to phrase it. But
the majority of the people that like to think that they have the truth is usually colored in bias.
mm-hmm.
So that's why there's always 3 sides.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, bottom line, when it comes to like different things, like for instance, if we want to talk about something that's recent, you can't have this conversation, and it sucks to say that it's race dependent, but for instance, standing for the flag, you know what I mean? The national anthem, that is a big subject right now that people just, it gets really, really touchy.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I actually know how to approach the conversation with each person, whether they're, they're black, or maybe they're, whether they're ethnic. I shouldn't even say black. Sort of they're ethnic and versus, whites. And that's kind of how you see the left and right paradigm. It's mostly people on the right are typically white, people on the left are typically ethnic. Same with Democrats, Republicans, whatever it is. People seem to have their box that they're already in. And it's crazy, but if you try to talk about things like that, they just get completely turned off. They want to argue with you. And instead of saying to themselves, look, I might not like what this person's saying, but let me at least try to understand what they're saying, so I can either, have my own educated, analysis on what he's saying, or, I can maybe wouldn't switch sides, but at least say, at least I can have a peaceful conversation with this person.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, though. The vast majority of people are not open-minded to take another person's perspective or another perspective at all, anything other than themselves or the people that are in their closed little group.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this channel is mainly about. We're going to be expanding upon that. Like, anybody that's like not willing to come out of their bubble or box is obviously not going to like this channel, and they're going to find this, what we talk about here, very controversial. So then that's what we are, and that's what we're going to be.
And that's okay. That's awesome too, man. It
Exactly.
really is, because it's like everybody should have a different opinion on stuff. That's what makes the world go round. It really does, man. Just...
Exactly. But if your opinion is very closed, and then you try to force that opinion upon other people, that's an issue. So and so that's what we're going to try and push past here in this channel at the Redpillstation.
Right. And so,
Indeed.
but basically, we're supposed to have some other people on this channel right now, but
not tonight, because there's something in this. There's something that we all know as flakers, and not everybody likes flakers. Flakers suck. Flakers suck ass. And a couple of my friends were supposed to be here tonight, but they couldn't quite make it for reasons I will not disclose. But that is just what's known as a flaker.
And honestly, so I come from a small town, and bro, dude, like, there's something about a city that's weird about you guys here in the city. In a small town, we don't really flake like that.
I mean, in a city.
I know. Well, yeah, Roseville, Sacramento, but really though, when it comes to like my town, like we say we're coming, we're like, hey, I'm coming over. I only have to tell somebody once, like, hey, it might be Monday, and I'll say Friday, I'm coming over to your place, and we're fucking playing PlayStation, right? Whatever the fuck we're doing. Friday comes, I go there, it's done deal. He knows I was coming over, we do it. Here in the city, you motherfuckers, straight up, you have to call, like, it's Tuesday, I'm still coming over. It's Wednesday, still coming over. Thursday, Friday, hour before, I'm still coming over. Oh shit, 15 minutes before, sorry, not coming over.
Such BS, because that's exactly what happened. Probably about 45 minutes before the shindig occurred, they call me, can't quite make it. Oh, well, you must be from Sacramento.
Yeah, right? Or any major city. Like, I've just noticed, it's always in major cities. I mean, maybe it's the traffic, maybe it's the job. I don't know what it is.
The type of people.
It's crazy though, man. People just love to flake, but I don't know. I'm not much of a flaker myself, just because.
Son of a gun.
It's your word. It's like Jon Snow. It's your fucking word.
Exactly.
What did he say? What did he say in Game of Thrones?
I haven't really watched the show.
My God, what did he talk? He said it was the most amazing scene. I'm like, oh, fucking Jon Snow. He was like, so basically, he pledged to the to Khaleesi, and the other queen, right, the one with the short hair. She basically was like, well, you need to pledge allegiance to me, and he didn't pledge allegiance, and that's how the whole shindig was supposed to go down. And then the next thing you know, the queen was like, I thank you for your virtue, but you didn't need to do that. Like, you could have lied. And he goes, what? We all stopped lying, and now our words don't have any more meaning. And I was like, oh, fucking Jon Snow.
Comes down to it. He's like, that's all we really got, bro, is our word, and he can't be lying.
WWJS, what would Jon Snow do?
Oh,
that's the new one. That's
I'm about to get that tattooed on.
Yeah, I already bought. I purchased the wristbands, so they're about $50.
Oh, snap.
Make sure you chip in for that.
Okay,
anyways.
My goodness.
But bottom line, so you talk about flakers, and people that think like this, like truthers, typically are put in a category of preppers. I mean,
no, truthers are not always put in the category of preppers. Preppers is really its own thing, and preppers is really awesome, I think, in their own way, because when shit goes down and shit hits the fan, people are going to become running to you, like, yo, what do we do? How do I do it? Like, you have all the supplies. How do I survive?
Typically, if you're a truther, though, you're already thinking about things that could happen, things that are about to happen in the United States. So you kind of do, you don't necessarily get prepped all the way. I guess you kind of just get ready, or you just sit in the doom, one or the other.
True, yeah. I guess, yeah, it can be synonymous, but it's not always. But it is amazing when you find someone who is synonymous with both truther and...
Actually, yeah, I actually just realized that I do know somebody like that just has no hope for anything. She's the light at the end of the tunnel. It's a fucking train. It's crazy.
Shit goes down, well, I might as well go down with it. Yeah, no. If you're a truther and you're a prepper, well, you might be a little ahead of the curve.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm personally prepper. My wife are preppers. I don't know if you are. We have gold...
I want to be a prepper, but I just don't have the financial resources to do so. If I really wanted to be a prepper, I probably could.
Bro, like $20 out of your check a week. That'll get you started.
Like food and weapons.
Purchase dehydrated food, to purchase packaged water, to purchase your bag that you'll need. I mean, obviously a gun's going to cost a little bit more, but just even a handgun helps. You know what I mean?
That's why you put aside a little bit every week that you can buy one.
This is where people go crazy. Well, you're a prepper. You're so worried about things. I don't live my life in fear. I'm like, neither do I. I'm prepped. I'm ready. I don't either. I'm already ready.
He's not in fear because he's prepped.
But you, like, a hurricane comes, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm prepped. Like, you're like, oh shit, what do I fucking do? Like, no, I'm prepped.
Exactly. When shit goes down, like, you're going to be looking at the people that are preppers. Like, oh, help us. Like, you should have prepped.
People never think it can happen, though. That's the problem. And I'll admit, there is a lot of, a lot of people crying wolf, I guess I should say. But, I mean, for instance, North Korea, which we don't even know what the truth is with North Korea, if they really are as tyrannical as we think they are. I'm pretty sure they are, about 80% of it, but I think, 20% is us pushing a little propaganda.
But them being as big as a problem as we're saying they are is just, I don't think, a fact of the matter. I think them, like...
why are there a couple of satellites going over the U.S. of North Korea? I'm pretty sure we're kind of cool in that sense, where it's like...
I mean, if shit goes down, it's going to be planned and prepped. So
that's what I'm worried about.
Let's go ahead and jump from preppers to that, yeah. The North Korea situation. That'll be an entire episode in and of itself, I'm sure. But, nothing happens by accident in this world at all. Wars, any financial crises or economic falls or anything of that matter, nothing happens by accident anymore because the world has been bought and paid for by special interest groups, and any wars that happen is purely for the financial gain of a selected few. So, say that we suddenly go to war with North Korea, obviously we would win, and there are associated.
But what comes out of that though?
Financial gain and on special interest groups.
But construction companies will be placed in North Korea after we fuck them up.
We suddenly financially usurp them. We institute a central bank. We take over their natural resources, and we place 2 or 3 different military bases.
Sounds a lot like Iraq. Wow.
Or multiple other countries around the world. You got a military base and a central bank. If you have a central bank and a military base, you are owned by the U.S.
Mm-hmm. So. It's imperialism. But you know what's scary? People think it's the U.S. in the sense of like my cousin or your brother or anybody else that goes to the military. They're like, well, were you talking bad about our military? No.
Not at all.
The military-industrial complex isn't our families. It isn't the people that's in the military. Like, when it comes to all these things that are happening, it's in the interest of the offshore banks. To me, banks are the ones that run the world. And bottom line, when it comes to their interests, the right hand of that is the United States Army, the military. Military does everything, and we'll go in depth on all of that. But it's what really runs everything that's going on in this world. And our job, honestly, is to put the information out. Can we fight that? No. I mean, come on. If we were to call a civil war right now with everybody that's awake, let's say everybody was awake, right? They got unplugged from the system, and now they want to fight. Now they say, no, we know about the Federal Reserve. We know about everything that's happening. We know why 40% of my taxes are taken out of my check. We know about all the issues that we have in this world. What's going to end up happening is we're going to get slaughtered. Bottom line, there's so much technology, so many drones, so many things that will kill all of us. We don't have a hope. The only thing that we can hope for, in my opinion anyways, it's just my opinion, is to bank on the republic system, to bank on our local voting systems. It's the only thing I could think of. I don't believe in voting in general, but in voting in our local systems and getting people in office that can change things, it's the only thing we have hope for.
Yeah, our local political systems, our local legal systems, our local courts, states, judges, courthouses.
Who are against the corporations.
That's what will stand up against it. Yes, exactly. But like you said, though, everybody that's awake that tried to like aggressively, physically stand up against them, we would get ultimately decimated and slaughtered. Look at the fact that out of that, the U.S. government bought like 10 trillion rounds in 2012.
Of ammunition?
Ammunition in 2012. Just boom! We're just going to collect trillions of rounds. Don't worry about what we're doing. But we're taking trillions of rounds and we're going to put it over here.
I always wonder what that was for, because I mean, you see all these publications, Alex Jones, AMTV News, everybody talking about the fact that, hey, a civil war is coming. I don't know, man. I feel more of a revolution than a civil war. But, I mean, they're pushing for the civil war, and you can see it. It's racial. There's so much racial divide. It's ridiculous.
I think a revolution is absolutely what's needed, but we can't have like a man in the street revolution in today's day and age. We can't, because we would absolutely lose. Yeah, the military-industrial complex would utilize its military personnel to go against the civilians on the streets in the U.S., and they would take us out. We wouldn't be organized enough. They have too much technology. They have too much money. They have too much personnel against us. And regardless of whatever revolutionary group were to pop up, if it were multiple or just one, we would not be strong enough, because they're recording you from every angle at all times, especially with your phone and every device that you have in your life. The only way I think that a revolution in this situation would ever possibly work is a cyber revolution. I think the last bastion of...
Shout out to Anonymous, where the fuck are you?
Right? The last bastion of defense, of free liberty, sovereign defense of humanity is cyber warfare. That's our last true warriors, our last true soldiers on the field today that can make a actual difference. Is Anonymous and the other hackers out there around the world.
This is what worries me, though. It's ironic that it's on the fucking battlefield of the military. They created that.
Exactly.
So I'm just like, I mean, could we even win there, though? That's the question. Can we win there?
Cybernetically, in the cyber world, I think if we banded together, if the true elite hackers of the world, of the dark web, the deep web, if they came together with a common cause to defend, sovereign, independent humanity, I think we could make a difference. And once a difference happens...
Just because corporations are dependent on the web, correct?
Exactly, yes. And financial institutions worldwide are dependent heavily on the web. And if we had an organized or even a disorganized group of individuals, of elite hackers from around the world to take charge against these things, that would lead way to them being boots on the ground of revolution, of human revolution on the ground. That's our door.
I feel like we'd have to have a mix of that, though. We'd have to have that.
That's our first. Yeah. That's our entryway. That's the last way. That's our last bastion of saving ourselves from this tyrannical government that's taking over the world. Is if it happened cybernetically in the deep web. If they came together and organized and just assaulted basically the infrastructure of worldwide governments and central banking systems and took them down, then revolution could start on a man level.
But why? Okay, so
and this could be effective.
Right.
But it can't be without a cybernetic intervention first.
So this is where you get Dana and her husband Bob. Dana and Bob are happy Americans. They don't like this talk, Brandon. They don't like it, okay? So, what is really being taken from them? I mean, you have typical capitalists that say, no, you should go out, if you don't like the way things are in this world, go out and work harder. But I've already seen the greed of corporations. I've already seen what they do. I've seen people getting paid a set amount of money and have that all taken away by corporations, and nobody says anything, regardless of even a union is representing you. No one says nothing. I've seen, I'm sorry to be so petty. My fucking Reese's Pieces is fucking smaller. My Snickers is fucking smaller. What the fuck? And I'm paying more? Like, do you guys not get it? I know that's fucking petty, but my Snickers are smaller. My king size is now a normal size. Like, you guys don't understand. These corporations are taking over everything. Like, they're literally fucking us in the ass for more with zero lube. Like, Bob, and I'm being serious. I'm sorry to be so vulgar, but honestly, man, it's sad that people don't understand this. They don't see the federal income tax growing and growing and growing more and more and more. They don't see it every year. Like, wow, how come I'm paying more in taxes yet I'm not getting paid more?
Every year you're going to be getting less for more until it's almost nothing eventually. And if it keeps continuing on that path, eventually we're going to be we're going to be living in closets eventually.
Inflation.
For like $3,000 a month.
I mean, for those out there watching, like, look at biodiversity. That's the ultimate goal. Like, this is what they're doing and nobody cares. This is why we have to do what we have to do. Like, it's like putting the information out there. The only thing we can hope for is generationally we can teach our kids and we can send the information out there to other people to understand, like, look, this shit is happening and it's real. Like, you need to make a change. You need to understand the truth. It sucks what happened in the last election. A lot of truthers thought, well, maybe Donald Trump is outside of the spectrum. Maybe he's outside of it. But he ended up being a part of it, and it's sad.
He's a president. Obviously, he's absolutely inside the spectrum. The last person that tried to get outside the spectrum was fucking shot in the head.
Yeah, right? That was my favorite president. Everybody asked me, who's your favorite president? The one that got shot.
Yeah,
the one that
died. The one that got capped in the dome.
Right? Executive Order 11110. Like,
tried to splinter the CIA into 1,000 shards, and they were like, nope! Boom! Anybody trying to make a positive difference in the world, shoot him in the head.
Yeah, but that's what sucks, man, is that if you try to make a difference, if you try to actually change things in this world, it will be stopped.
Yeah. If you want to make enemies, try and change something.
Exactly, right? But anyways, so with the podcast, I got a little list here.
Oh, yeah. Let's continue on.
So, a lot of people are probably wondering, like, so what are you guys going to be putting on this show, man? Why the fuck am I sub to you?
Yeah, why would I listen to you? Why would I come to your channel? Why would I subscribe to your app?
So, and ultimately, we're not ultimately claiming that everything that we say is 100% true. This is just the information that we've been given, and we're going to tell you the reasons why we believe in what we believe in because we've done the research. A lot of people out there say, don't look at anything you see on the internet. Well, I say to them, don't look at anything you read in the library. Don't look at anything anybody says to you. Yeah. It's up to you as a person, as an individual, to look at all the information and critically think for yourself.
Come to your own conclusion.
And come to your own conclusion. Don't listen to us. Don't listen to anybody. Listen to yourself.
Put the pieces of the puzzle together. We're gonna don't take anything we say for truth. Take what we say and go research it for yourself and find your own knowledge.
There's a lot of good channels out there. There's a lot of good alternative news. You shouldn't just be watching CNN. You shouldn't just be watching Fox. Those are two different sides of the spectrum. You should actually be looking into alternative news, and you should look into, here's the number one thing that blew my mind, journalists. There's a lot of journalists out there that people don't know about. Type it in Google. Put in journalists for Syrian war. You're going to find a girl named Syrian Girl that actually has a lot of good information. She blew my mind with the information about Syria. Like, this girl's amazing. I would like to put a link for her. Might put a link for her in this video. But just to go over some of the podcast subjects that we're going to be talking about, if you want to go through some of those real quick.
Oh, okay. Cool. We have quite a few topics to talk about on our channel. So, I mean, just to run through them real quick, it's going to be starting Bruce Lee, martial arts, flat earth theory, Donald Trump, Khazars, black suppressors, dimensions of the third eye, and any esoteric thing that has to do with that. The elites, the list of the people that are the elite. That's a long podcast right there in and of itself. The elite organizations, 9/11, North Korea, and any possible World War III. Race war, civil war, everything that we're saying right now is being logged, and we're obviously being recorded right now because Google has our phones.
I laughed earlier because I was imagining some guy going, "Oh, just fucking talk about a revolution. Talk about a physical revolution. I swear, I'll have FBI agents at your house
arrested in half a fucking second." Oh, all right. Race war, civil war, athletes and drugs and controversy. That's a good conversation. I have a few people that are be really interested in that one. Civil war and slavery, God, organized religions, Democrats versus Republicans, anime. This is a good one. That's gonna be a good podcast. Sexuality and transsexuals and the whole gender hypocrisy and issues. That's a whole podcast in and of itself. Hitler, Stalin, dictators, hidden symbols, weather modifications. RFID chips, HARP, HAARP, research that right now, take a gander. It's a whole weather modification thing. It's going to blow your mind. Paranormal, ghosts, anything having to do with paranormal, we're going to elaborate that on pretty much almost every podcast because I have so much to say. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. Economic hitmen, why people hate the U.S. Bigfoot, we're going to get down on it.
He's fucking real. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. He's fucking real. And part of your DNA is part of Bigfoot's. Fuck you. Okay, keep going.
IRS and the Titanic. Is there any similarities or correlation between IRS and the Titanic?
Which one?
IRS and the Titanic? Because you said IRS/Titanic. Is there a correlation there?
Oh, definitely. JP Morgan had a few people put on that shit for a reason.
Climate change and global warming. ISIMS or ISIMS. Fitness and industry. Eugenics or eugenics, I believe. Eugenics is an interesting topic in and of itself. SBG media, propaganda.
Sinclair Broadcasting Group. I mean, everybody, if you didn't notice, like all the CNN, NBC, all the newscasts are ran by one company. So you're getting your propaganda from one source.
Is it really? All the news podcasts are run by one? That makes total sense.
And the proof is amazing. The proof just,
God. You're like, the proof is right there in the pudding. The pharmaceutical industry. I myself work in the pharmaceutical industry and have a few cents to add to that. So let's see. The liberal agenda on YouTube, PC. Another friend of mine and a few other friends of mine work in the telecommunications industry, so we'll have a few things, a few bits of truth to add to that particular podcast in the telecommunications industry. We'll talk about professions in its own podcast. And we'll bring people on the show that are of a bunch of different professions, and we'll all give you a little bit of a taste of the truth of what goes on really in these particular professions. So maybe pharmaceutical, telecommunications, and a few other coming along. So if you're interested in that, you're gonna like that podcast. Liberal agenda, YouTube, PC, aliens, extraterrestrials. That will be a very long podcast. And probably gonna be a multitude of podcasts I'm gonna do with extraterrestrials. The Apollo missions, fake moon landing, extraterrestrials, the number of races there are, whatnot. Yeah. Depopulation Agenda 21. Sovereign citizenships. The Saturn magic. I don't like the term magic because I find myself to be a realist and maybe a man of science, I suppose. And the term magic, it really is like broad spectrum and can.
You don't like magic?
Magic, I think, is just like a term given to things that people don't quite understand.
I'm gonna give you a Ouija board. Go play with that.
I'm so down,
but
don't mess with me, man. In terms of
after
magic,
this podcast, we're gonna be playing with the Ouija board. We'll see what happens after.
I'm serious. Don't mess
There's
with
no
me.
magic though.
And personally, magic is just a term for science that people don't understand, and I'm talking like hardcore science, like theoretical sciences and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Everything could be explained nowadays, and anything that's magical from like the Dark Ages can be explained in a scientific term, I believe, today. That's a different conversation. Dollar symbolism, educational system, bell system. It's interesting. What do you mean about that? Music industry. That's a good one.
Whenever you're an alcoholic and you have to go to AA, 12-step system. Why?
Snap. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it 12 steps? Blowing my mind.
You go through grade 1 through 12, right?
Oh, snap.
We'll wait till we get to there. We'll wait till we get to there.
Goodness gracious.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bible and lost books of the Bible, like the book of Enoch and whatnot. And then
Brother Enoch.
And then Nephilim. Mass shootings. Government to mind control. That's a classic. And monotheism versus paganism. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And different esoteric religions. And we'll get deep into religions such as like Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism, Satanism, Luciferianism.
I mean, we'll start from the beginning of monotheism. So basically, Zoroastrianism. So if anybody knows about that, you're going to love that podcast for sure. So,
but that's pretty much the subjects of what we have now. And we're definitely going to expand upon that greatly over the potential years that we're going to have this podcast going.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, essentially.
And all the podcasts are going to come out weekly. So we're going to ask people that if you can, on the YouTube page, if you can, while we're doing our channels, we have a team that's actually going to be, working our channel. You can go ahead and put comments in there. Ask questions. Literally ask questions during the podcast. We want that. We're literally going to get any questions that get asked. They're going to stop us. They're going to say, hey, so-and-so has a question about this. If it's a legitimate question, we'll answer that because we want people to be involved in this. We want to be interactive when it comes to this podcast.
Seriously, anything like we're going to elaborate deeply and basically throw out everything that we know on all these subjects that we have to say. I'm not going to hold anything back. And anything that you guys might disagree with or have to, or elaborate more upon, like say like, oh, you're missing this, or you forgot to say this. Please, show us in the comments.
We need you guys' help.
Down here, show us in the comments like what you have to add to this, or what you might disagree with, and tell us in the comments about it. And we'll bring you we'll bring you on the show. We'll Skype you in, and we will conversate, and you will enlighten us, and we will enlighten you, and you will add upon this, and then some. And so please, if you have anything to add to our particular podcast or conversation, please let us know in the comments, and we'll give you a shout out in the comments. If you have just something quick to say, we'll give you a shout out, and we'll give you the credit for what you're giving us, something that we didn't know, and or if you have a lot to elaborate on, we'll bring you on the show via Skype. Mm-hmm. So let yourself be known in the comments. So
cool. Awesome. Well, that's it. So we will get back to you guys December 23rd. Please be there. Send it out to your friends, family, wherever you can. Criticize us. Say whatever you want.
Yeah, say whatever you want. If you got shit talking to say or good things to say, we'll read your comments on the show. So.
And we'll respond.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Cool. Well, cool. We'll see you guys December 23rd.